The energy infrastructure was something that has been off limits. None of the countries were touching it because they knew just how catastrophic it would be economically. I mean, it's one thing to attack each other's countries, but once you start going after their energy infrastructure, then you're talking about destroying economies for a long period of time. This is a situation that is happening. It's not when will it happen or could it happen. It's happening right now. It's unfolding right now. So, hey everyone, Joe here with the Idaho Prepper channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Prepared Citizens Report. So tonight we're going to be going over the recent escalation in the Middle East and the attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure by Israel, and how this could impact the global energy supply and the economy. So we're going to break that down, and then we're going to go into a list of things that we can do to all prepare for this. So if you're familiar with these episodes, what I do is I just read to you a brief summary of a bunch of articles that I've collected on this subject, and then we just go straight into a to-do list of things that we can do to get ahead of this and get prepared for it. So there's a lot to cover here tonight, so I'm just going to get right into it. The conflict in the Middle East has entered a dangerous new phase, with Iran expanding its retaliation into energy infrastructure across the region, a move that threatens to disrupt global oil and gas markets. Until recently, both sides avoided targeting energy systems directly, recognizing the catastrophic global consequences such strikes could trigger. That restraint ended after Israel carried out attacks on Iran's South Pars gas field, one of the country's most critical energy sites. In response, Iran has stepped up attacks across multiple countries, targeting facilities that were previously considered off limits. Confirmed disruptions and attacks have hit Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Iraq, all critical hubs for global oil and gas supply. Experts warn that this marks a sharp escalation. By targeting energy infrastructure, Iran is no longer engaging in a localized military conflict. It is disrupting the entire regional energy network, creating immediate and serious risks for global markets. Early signs of the crisis are already visible. Key production facilities are temporarily offline. Fuel distribution networks are disrupted. Energy markets are reacting with sharp volatility. The potential fallout is severe. Even short-term disruptions could drive fuel prices sharply higher, strain transportation networks, and increase the cost of goods worldwide. Analysts also caution that Iran could escalate through cyber attacks on energy infrastructure, a tactic it has used successfully in the past. Cyber strikes could shut down refineries, halt fuel distribution, and disrupt logistics, further compounding supply shortages. Unlike missile strikes, these attacks could hit multiple countries simultaneously and are harder to attribute or counter in real time. The combination of physical and digital attacks represents a new level of danger, one that threatens both regional stability and the global economy. For consumers, businesses, and governments, the warning is clear. Disruptions to the energy supplies are no longer a distant risk. They are already unfolding, and the next phase of this conflict could trigger significant global shortages and price spikes. The world is facing a critical moment. How Iran continues to escalate against the region's energy infrastructure could determine not only the course of the conflict, but also the stability of global energy markets for months, if not years to come. So there is the article there. And yeah, this is a serious thing. I actually kind of struggled trying to get these reports and summarize this situation, because it's not something that a lot of people are talking about in this way. They're not putting it together. The energy infrastructure was something that has been off limits. None of the countries were touching it because they knew just how catastrophic it would be economically. I mean, it's one thing to attack each other's countries, but once you start going after their energy infrastructure, then you're talking about destroying economies for a long period of time. So, this is a situation that is happening. It's not when will it happen or could it happen. It's happening right now. It's unfolding right now. So I urge you guys to do your own research on this, and make sure to keep tabs on this stuff and always, source reliable news outlets when you're researching this, because I'll tell you, there's a lot of propaganda circulating around this war right now, so it's really easy to get misled about what's going on. But this channel, I'm just going to give it to you straight. I'm going to try to stay out of the political side. As much as I have a political opinion on all this, I'm going to keep it real neutral here. But it is a severe situation, and that's what matters most. So let's go into the to-do list. It's basically 10 things that we can do to prepare. And before I get into the more formal list here, I'm going to kind of give you my own take on what I think you should do right away. So obviously, top off your preps, put together an inventory, figure out where your weak points are, figure out what you need. That's totally up to you guys. You guys know what you need, but definitely top off your lists, or your preps. I would say right now, get ammo, because I'm surprised that the ammo right now is as plentiful as it is, and the prices are pretty stable at this point. But right now, like I said, this war is escalating. We're going to see a ground troop surge that's already happening. We already have thousands of troops over there ready to do, basically to go in on the ground. And once this happens, once it enters into this phase of like a full-scale war, you're going to start seeing these ammo contracts start going, giving the military first dibs, and that's when you're going to start see shortages. So I'd say if you aren't stocked up on ammo, do it now. Wish I had some links to ammo and discount codes, but I don't. So get stocked up on that. But yeah, the basics: food, water, medical, defense. Okay, all that stuff. The other thing I'd say, and this is going to go into the list. Generally, I would say, adopt a focused, self-sustaining, budget-friendly lifestyle. That's the best way I could put it. I think that where we're going is kind of beyond just, put some beans and bullets and vegetables and food to the side. I think this is going to be something that's going to be long-term, and we're just going to have to buckle in and really adopt a budget-focused lifestyle. So start doing DIY, getting into renewability, gardening, that kind of thing. So I covered a lot of this in the last episode from last week, but that, that's kind of my take on that. All right, now we'll go straight into the list here. All right, number 1, map your local vulnerabilities. Identify local gas stations, grocery stores, and critical services that rely heavily on just-in-time supply chains. This is something that I just actually learned, is that the bigger the store, so Costco's, these big box stores, that the quicker they empty. So if there's any type of crisis and, people are running to the stores to stock up on stuff, those are the stores that actually run out of supplies quickest. So keep that in mind. Maybe you want to focus on the smaller stores, and just know where those smaller stores are in your area, because chances are they're going to have more supply, believe it or not. No alternate sources for fuel, water, and essential goods. So that just basically means, no other places where you can go and get the essentials like water. So if we get an attack on our power grid or something, know another place where you can access water, whether that's a river, stream, or a pool, but definitely put an emphasis on those essential things. Same thing with fuel. The bigger the gas stations, like the ones that are on the highways there, those are the ones that run out of the fuel the fastest. So know where those smaller gas stations are in your area in case, we end up in a situation where everybody's panic buying. Go to those smaller places. Chances are those are the ones that are going to be the last ones to run out of fuel. All right, diversify energy sources at home. So don't just rely on gas or electricity. Consider wood stoves, propane, solar, or small wind setups. Keep small-scale portable generators ready, but test them now. Very important. Stock fuel safely for alternate sources, propane cylinders, small gas cans, solar batteries, that kind of thing. Yeah, there's never been a more important time to have a generator. I recommend doing a solar generator because it doesn't rely on fuel. So if you don't have one, get a solar generator and some solar panels. You don't have to get something massive. You can just get, a 1200 watt solar generator and like 200 watt panels, something like that. But just have something that, you can charge your phone, your radios, the essential things, and, with the sun, in case fuel isn't available. Yeah, and the same thing with fuel, obviously. Make sure that your gas cans are filled, that you have your fuel stabilizers in there so that they last a long time. And I would say too, just always keep fuel on stock or on hand. Make sure to cycle through it so it doesn't get too old, but make sure that you do have fuel that is set aside for a crisis, not just, set aside for using day to day. All right. Digital and communication prep. Have a non-network dependent way to get news and alerts. Battery powered radios or shortwave. So remember these? Good classic C-Crane shortwave radio. So you never know what's going to happen. We get, hit with, some type of cyber warfare attack. The internet goes down or just something gets crazy. We have a major false flag, which is very plausible right now. And the internet lines just get crowded and you're not able to get internet. Have a basic shortwave radio. Also have, a basic handheld radio or a scanner. These are very important. This is a Baofeng UV5R. Good radios, but this is a good way to keep tabs on things that are going on around you. You have emergency channels like that. And then always have another hand radio, and this is for communicating within your own neighborhood, your own region. So this has a 3 to 5 mile distance of communication on this radio. So make sure to leave links for both those radios, but definitely keep communication focused. Sorry if you guys can hear my kids in the background. They're watching a movie and getting crazy. Let's see. Protect yourself from cyber disruptions. Keep a spare iPhone in a Faraday cage. So definitely important. And this is something that actually popped up. It kept coming when I was searching kind of the things that were going on and the things that we need to be looking out for. Cyber attacks kept coming up. This is something that our government really thinks is going to be something that we need to start preparing for. Cyber attacks are a big threat right now, and we've actually already had a few cyber attacks already happen locally. So definitely something to prepare for. You can make your own Faraday cage, or you can buy one online, but you can make them out of these metal ammo cans. You just basically pull the gaskets out of here and replace them with tin foil, and then put in like a backup cell phone, or just a secondary phone that you have, and just keep it protected in case there's some type of EMP. But good way to protect your spare phones. Keep offline copies of critical documents. Very important. So make sure that you're taking copies of your driver's license, birth certificate, social security, all that kind of stuff. Have cash or alternative payment methods in case of a electronic payment system failure. So keep silver, keep bartering items. I went over this, not on this video, but like 3 videos back. We talked about bartering, but bartering is something that I think we all need to be focused in on. That might end up becoming an alternative monetary system in the near future. So look into bartering and stocking up on bartering items. Prioritize critical skills. So practice. If fuel or energy becomes unstable, you'll need self-reliant skills immediately. Cooking without electricity, heating or cooling spaces safely without power, manual water pumping, filtration, and storage. So maybe now's the time to get, a 55-gallon drum and one of those hand pumps for your water storage. Definitely, if you don't have an alternative way of cooking, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. This is a good way. This is actually something a customer of mine just gave me. But this is an EcoZoom wood stove. So it's basically it's steel, and then inside of this metal here, it's encased with ceramic blocks. And then you just open up this little area here, and you can basically put your fuel in there. I actually have never even used it. It's brand new. And then you cook on the top. So that's one way to cook. And then you're not relying on propane or gas or electricity to cook. You can cook on this stove with just wood. So really good way to cook when you don't have access to propane. But if you do, you have lots of propane. Another good way, just get yourself a basic propane stove. This is the most recent one I got. And this I actually just got for my tent. Let's see if I can figure out how to open this thing. Oh yeah, here we go. But this just opens like so. So you can put a grid on one end and then a grill on the other. But there's two burners right there. So really cool, but definitely have an alternative way of cooking. This is actually something that I've been thinking about doing, is putting together like a survival cooking kit for my family. So I got a big family. So, you know, when it comes to cooking, you know, you're going to need a lot of things, a lot of utensils, plates, pans, pots, things like that. So might do a video just based on that, but definitely have an alternative way to cook things. Number 5, focus on supply chain independence. So identify items most sensitive to global disruption: gasoline, propane, and diesel, oil and lubricants for vehicles and generators, shipping dependent items, medical supplies, pet foods, specialty foods. Acquire enough buffer stock for 2 to 4 weeks. Rotate it to maintain freshness. So yeah, like this goes back to what I was saying. Start adopting a budget-focused lifestyle, you know, a self-reliable, self-sustaining lifestyle. It's definitely something that we're going to all need to be focused on in the near future, unfortunately. So basically know the things that because I think we've had such, we've gotten so comfortable. We've had such an abundance of these things. It's really hard to see, and put into perspective just how dependent we are, on these things, because they're just so readily available now. And you just end up taking them for granted. And it's, every time we lose our power here, it's like, it takes like a couple days to kind of get into the way of doing things without power, because you just get so used to flipping lights on when you need light and things like that. So try to get focused on that stuff now. Transportation and mobility contingencies. And this is always something that I've been focused on. I don't see a lot of people doing it, but consider alternative vehicles, bicycles, scooters, or small off-road vehicles, multi-fuel capable engines if possible. Keep spare tires, fluids, and repair kits ready. So definitely, I would think the best alternative vehicle for transportation is an e-bike. If you don't have an e-bike, I'd say seriously get an e-bike, especially if you're going to start getting into a budget-focused lifestyle. That's a great way to save on money, is if you can start, going to the grocery stores, getting the small things, going around town, not using your car, just having an e-bike. And, an e-bike combined with a solar generator, I mean, man, you're getting all your transportation for free. So I'll make sure to leave a link for the e-bike that I use, but I love my e-bike. It's by far my favorite piece of prepping equipment. Number 7, community and network prepping. So identify trusted neighbors or groups for resource sharing, exchange skills and resources in advance, mechanics, gardening, security, fuel access. Stay connected, but maintain operational security. So keep your network small and trustworthy. So get to know your neighbors, those people, those groups now. We're going to need them for sure. Definitely having a group of people that you can trust is going to make, surviving an economic downturn a lot easier. So yeah, know what people, have what skills in your area. I'm really fortunate, the area we live in, we have a lot of people in my neighborhood that I've gotten to know over the years. And between all of us, we have a large multitude of skills. So we had doctors, nurses, mechanics, contractors, farmers, you name it. We got military people here, so all kinds of skills in my neighborhood. Psychological and operational readiness. Prepare for stressful supply disruptions, lines, price spikes, outages. Run scenario drills. Example, what do we do if there's no gas for a week or power for a couple days? What's it going to be like if you go offline, go off grid for a while? So don't guess this stuff. Don't try to guess. Practice it, so that when it does happen, you're not overreacting and panicking and freaking out. So running drills is always important. Number 9, critical supplies beyond food and fuel. So lubricants and spare parts for generators, vehicles, pumps and water systems, industrial strength filtration, water and air in case distribution fails, alternative lighting and heating sources, candles, oil lamps, stoves, basic medical first aid kits for delays in pharmaceuticals or pharmacies and deliveries, gas masks, and hazardous protective gear. So I know that was kind of a lot. This is kind of like it said, supplies beyond food and fuel. But yeah, air filters, it's something that you don't think about. Get a couple extra air filters for your furnace if your house is on a furnace. Because I know, it's definitely a huge thing. You got a lot of people in your house. You're going to need a really good filter in your furnace, especially if, as this allergy season, you guys have allergies, you want good filters in your furnace to collect all that stuff, because air is critical. You don't last long without air. Alternative lighting, heating, obviously, oils, candles, oil lamps, flashlights. Got one charging right here, but always have enough flashlights, batteries, things like that. Basic first aid, for those of you who are dependent on medications, maybe get a backup supply of medications. And if you're looking into getting a backup supply of antibiotics, especially life-saving antibiotics, you can get a Jace medical kit. I'll make sure to leave a link with a discount code for that kit. But again, like it said here, a lot of our medications, unfortunately, are all outsourced. And if we end up in any type of global supply issues, yes, you're going to see shortages on medications. So something to think about. And then as far as the gas masks, this is, it might seem kind of crazy, but there is a lot of talk about, Israel invoking the Samson option and going nuclear if they can't win this thing. So we might just see this thing go nuclear. They've already been talking about it. So if you don't have a gas mask, you think it's too extreme. I've, been prepping long enough to where I've seen, fear on this happen where, and there's a run on gas masks and they're hard to find. The gas masks and the filters are hard to find. So maybe get a gas mask now, get some air filters, but prepare for low probability but high impact situations that could involve hazardous air chemicals, smoke, or radioactive fallout. And that's another thing people don't realize with the gas masks. Those air filters will actually filter out smoke. So if you're in an area that's on fire, we had all those wildfires, having a gas mask and a good CBRN filter is going to protect your lungs from that fire. There's a lot of things burning, chemicals, cars are burning in those fires, all kinds of stuff is in the air. And those filters will protect from the pollutants that are in that smoke. So if for nothing else, maybe you think that getting a gas mask to protect yourself from nuclear fallout is totally out in left field, get it for fires, because we've all seen that. Fires are definitely something that happen every year. So a gas mask and a good filter will protect you to a certain extent from smoke. Doesn't last forever. It's not like a clean air oxygen tank, but it will protect you for a certain amount of time, at least, getting from point A to point B and getting out of the fire area. You can have a gas mask on and protect you from that smoke, from that initial smoke exposure. Basic preparedness may include having properly rated respirators or gas masks, with correct filters, keeping spare filters sealed and stored in a clean, dry location, eye protection, gloves, basic protective clothing like a hazmat suit. And I got all of that. I have a tote down here at the bottom of my shelves that's full of hazmat suits and gas masks and filters for everybody in my family. So definitely, it's not that crazy anymore to have this stuff. Knowing how to shut off outside air intake to your home if needed. So yeah, keep some duct tape and plastic in that emergency if you want to build an emergency kit like that. Those are the things you're going to need: gas masks, filters, some potassium iodide tablets, some radio meters where you can keep tabs on the radiation that's in the air, keep some heavy mill plastic and some duct tape in case you want to make a decontamination room. But yeah, there's a lot of things to put into that kit. So maybe think about putting together, some type of bio warfare survival kit. So that is pretty much it for the list. I tried to keep it new. I tried to keep it fresh. But let me know. I'm sure I probably missed some things, but let me know in the comment section what I may have missed, what you guys would have included. And if you guys are interested in anything that we discussed in today's video, I'll make sure to leave links in the description of the video along with some discount codes. I got some good discount codes. And yeah, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because this is an episode I'm going to be trying to do once a week, make sure to hit that notification bell. So with that said, until the next time, stay prepared.